Hare Krishna. So I want somebody to read this shloka, okay, and also the translation. If anybody can unmute and read the shloka, try to chant the shloka. Mataji or Prabhuji, anybody can unmute? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I read?
Yes, Amrita Mataji. Yes.
Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manavaha saddhavanto nashyanto muchyante pi api karambi. Translation by Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. So Anandrupa Prabhu, can you go to the next shloka? Okay. Somebody else can read this shloka as well and the translation.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Kamala Mataji.
Ye tvate tatya suyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvanyana vivaudham tastan vidhi nashtana chetasaha. Translation. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Okay, so devotees here, these two shlokas, 31st and 32nd in third chapter is very important. Krishna, this has been clubbed together to explain the faith. Okay, he talks about the faith in his instructions. So this is very important. Okay, so one thing for sure is when we come into devotional service, okay, when we have taken up Krishna consciousness, one thing is very important is the faith. Okay, so here in the 31st shloka, okay, he mentions about Shraddha in the third line. Shraddhavanto. So he talks about Shraddha, that means faith. Without faith, nothing can move forward. Okay, even in our ordinary life, if we see, without faith, nothing moves forward. Okay, I have faith in something, I do something. I have that confidence, I have that faith, I'll do that. Okay, that is what is happening. So here, Krishna is telling that ye me matham. So he's telling ye me matham, that means these are my words. And he's telling this is eternal. Nityam means eternal. So I'm going from the shloka, each word. So please look into the shloka and the translation as well. So he says this is the eternal words. Okay, and whom he is telling? He is telling Arjuna. Now he is not telling Arjuna just for the sake that he has to fight. Okay, but he is telling that he has to follow this as the eternal truth. This is the absolute truth. Okay, so 31st shloka mentions about this, who follow the injunctions or the instructions of Krishna, they become from something called as bondage. Now, one thing is here, we are all bound. Now, how we are bound? He gives this karma bihi. We all are bound by our karma. Okay, repeated actions and reactions. We do some actions, there is equal and opposite reaction. Again, we have to perform for that, or we have to wait for their reaction. And in the course of going through that reaction, we do another action. And again, there is, so this is a continuous, a vicious cycle which is going on in our life, where actions and reactions are happening. For that reason, I have to take birth again and again in different forms and different places. Okay, so this is how life is. But Krishna explains in this particular shloka that Anuthishtanti Manavaha. Anuthishtanti means the person who executes or accepts this regularly. Okay, Anuthishtanti. I'll come to the next shloka. Then he says Manavaha. He doesn't say animals. Okay, he says Manavaha. Manava means human beings. So these injunctions or the instructions are specifically given to humans. Okay, this is when. But in the 32nd shloka, if you see, there are opposite words. Okay, in the 31st shloka, if you see, he says Anasuyanto. Anasuyanto means the person without envy. He doesn't have any hatred or frustration or anger towards the Lord. So that person we follow. Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto. But in 32nd shloka, he does the opposite word. Abhyasuyantaha. Out of envy. Ye tvedat abhyasuyanto. Out of envy. He's doing. And here Nanutishtanti. There it was Anuthishtanti. Here Na Anuthishtanti. Na plus Anuthishtanti becomes Nanutishtanti. That means he will not follow. Do not follow. Okay. So this person is called as and he what is the result? Sarva Jnana Vimodha. Okay, whatever Jnana means knowledge. And whatever the knowledge he acquires, Vimhoda, he is completely fooled. Okay, so this is ruined, Nashtan. Okay, Vidhi Nashtan. And please know, Arjuna, that this is nothing but destruction. Nashta means we all understand. Okay, in Telugu or in Kannada, any language. Nashta means it destroys. And another last word, if you see, achetasaha. Chetasa means consciousness. And Prabhupada explains this is Krishna consciousness. But here, achetasaha means without Krishna consciousness. So the person who doesn't follow, bereft of everything, whatever he has done in his life. Okay, he may be a successful PhD or he may be a successful professor or a scholar, but what happens is he will be bereft of everything. Okay, this is what is explained in these two shlokas. So one is the person who follows and the other person is who doesn't follow. Now, there are two types of devotees. One is a pure devotee. He's always a pure devotee. Okay, and the other person is who is trying to become a devotee. Okay, so when we trying to become a devotee, we follow certain things and we do not follow certain things. Pure devotee means he is walking and talking Shastra or the injunctions or the scriptures. But when we are trying to become a devotee, we accept some certain things which is favorable for us and we reject even if it is unfavorable. But it may be favorable in the terms of what Krishna has told. Okay, so we, I can speak of myself. When we are trying to become a devotee, we do not accept everything. Gradually, slowly, when if you remember, when we came in Krishna consciousness, we were not chanting completely, we were not reading completely, we were not accepting everything completely. Slowly, slowly, we are progressing. So our goal is to become a devotee because we have seen the example of a devotee. And that is what is required. Okay. So another important aspect in these two shlokas is about the the word he uses, Krishna, the faith. Now, when you need to have a faith, what is the relationship with me and Krishna? The relationship is of he is the Lord and I am the servant. But in our mundane understanding, servant means, we have understanding that, oh, I have to do menial service. Oh, I have to, become subordinate. Okay, I will lose my ego. I will lose my position. Okay, that is what we are thinking. Okay, so for example, servant is there in the house, or there's some, who perform service to us in our society. Okay, we see them at a lower level. But that is not what is explained. It is completely opposite in the scriptures. The servant is the most relishable personality in the spiritual world. The relationship between the servant and the Supreme Lord or the Master in Vaikuntha or Goloka is completely relishable. It's completely pleasurable. Okay, that relationship which we have not experienced. That way we have this abhyas, we have that, I don't like it. That kind of feeling is there within us. Okay, you see, when Lord Narasimha came, he wanted to, the Lord comes for a purpose. He wants to annihilate the dushtas, okay, the rakshasas, the impious, and he wants to give pleasure to his devotees. So when Lord Narasimha comes, okay, he is coming for Prahalad's sake. Okay, and he has a desire, okay, that, oh, so nice, this is such a nice boy, small boy, he's 5 years old, and he has so much of faith in me. He's been thrown from the mountain, okay, from the hill. He's been put into the oil, okay, boiling oil, okay, and he's been made to sit amongst all the scorpions and poisonous snakes, okay, and he's been tortured so many ways by this personality Hiranyakashipu. He's a Rakshasa. Okay. So, but still, he has so much of faith in me that he always constantly, continuously remembers me at that point in time. That kind of faith is required in us. Okay. So that is the example what we can take. Okay. So, Narasimha also, when the Lord comes, okay, he has the desire. Okay, I want to serve my devotee. Okay, so Lord, when during the exchange of this love, he also wants to become a servant of his devotees. Okay, so that's why if you see next appearance, Rama comes. Okay, Rama comes and he wants to serve his father. He wants to serve everybody. He wants to serve the humankind. Okay, he wants to instruct people. So like this, if you see each avatara or each the incarnations, Lord comes for a specific purpose. Okay, he wants to do something. For example, in Ramayana, Rama is going into the forest, and all the thousands of all the 16,000 sages get up, and they have only one desire. All of them one desire, that they want to marry Rama. Okay, but Rama says, I'm Ekapati Vrata. I will give you the chance in the next life. You all will become Kanyas. You'll all become gopis, and I will marry you. So Krishna fulfills that. Okay, so Lord is reciprocating according to the desires of their pure devotees. And the devotees are always hankering after the Lord. Okay, wherever he may be. Okay, we want to be present with him there. So that is the desire everybody should have. So for that, now that is too far what I'm trying to think. But let us come in our own terms. Okay, when we chant, when we read, okay, we have to chant with faith. We have to with firm conviction. We have to read with firm conviction. Okay, so what is Shastra and what is not Shastra, that also people do not know. We just Google something or we see some video, we are accepting that as knowledge. Okay, whether the source or the reference of that particular message or the information which is given, is it authentic? We do not verify that. So today, because of the the generation which is going through of the mass media, the social media, everything is getting befooled. Befooled means we are getting fooled easily. Somebody is very good or expert in analyzing or orating something, we accept them as a great personality. Okay, we do not even consider or experiment or try to explore that whether that person is authentic, the message what he is sending is authentic or not. So we are in such a state. Okay. Leave alone having faith or the instructions of what Krishna has told, but we do not even know where the source of knowledge is. For example, any Bhagavad-gītā we take, we start reading. Okay. We have to see what is the purpose of the author also. When Srila Prabhupada went to America first time, 1969, he landed in Boston. And when he went to New York, okay, sorry, 1966. So there were already so many hundreds of varieties of Bhagavad-gītā on the market. And one upon another, when he encountered people regarding the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā, they had their own understanding. You see, there are two things, okay? One is there are persons who want to decorate their ego. Okay, we have ahankara. So just to decorate our ego, we may analyze, we may experiment, we may accumulate all the knowledge, and we may present in a very fashionable way, which is very pleasurable to the audience. Okay, but that doesn't serve the purpose. So that is just nothing but decoration of the ego. But there is something called as glorification of the Lord. That is the actual satisfaction of the ego, the real ego. If you want to get satisfied, okay, you have to glorify the Lord. But there are so many Bhagavad Gitas which I have personally read. They merely glorify the Lord. Anything, if you take Purana, or it can be Upanishad, or it can be any other Veda, there is a series of glorifications of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. But in the course of all these things, we have forgotten, of course, we do not have access to all the books, first of all. And as I said earlier, whatever people say or somebody, it's just by hearing or seeing some video, we accept, oh yeah, this is dharma, and this is what we have to follow. And accordingly, we will do. And we have our own rituals and we have our own way of religiosity. We term it as religion, and there are so many sections of sub religions which is arising every day. It's become a market of religion in the society. But if you see, there's only one dharma. Krishna nowhere in the Bhagavad Gita explains about I belong to this particular religion, and Arjuna, you have to follow this, and this will be the religion. But he says this is the. But one thing he says is sarva dharman parityaja. So sarva dharma means religion. The other meaning of dharma is religion, but other meaning is dharma means that cannot be changed. But we see constant changes in so many things happening in the society. They take it from one religion and they create another subdivision of the religion, and they call their own name, give their name, and this is called a religion. But this is not which is explained. So Sarva Dharma means Krishna is telling Arjuna already had certain things in his mind, because he thought that following this particular thing, following not killing seniors, no, all those things what he spoke in, he argued in first and second chapter, almost half of it. So he had his own concoctions of religiosity. So that's why at the end, Krishna says, I've given you the option. Okay. So this is what is there. You take out everything, whatever you have in your mind. And if you want to follow this, this is what is that. And again, in third chapter also, in the beginning itself, he's telling these two shlokas that whatever my injunctions, he doesn't say, other injunctions. He clearly says in the 31st shloka, ye me matam. Okay. He says, this is my injunctions. Okay. Idam nityam. And there is various examples. There are a lot of examples which are there in the Puranas also, in the course of devotees' life, who have followed this and perfected, who have become perfect in their life and going back to Godhead. It's not that, it's just happening for so many thousands of years, just like that. For example, I want to glorify yesterday, we had the Samadhi ceremony of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He passed away during the juncture of the Ekadashi and Dwadashi. It was so Paranatan. Okay. Now, if you see, he is a sannyasi. Okay. And we see in the society, I'll talk about others. There are so many so-called sannyasis who have so much of possessions, and they have so much of ego. They want their glorification. They want to connect with political party, or they want to do this, do that. But you see, this Maharaj, lifelong, when the first time, even before meeting Srila Prabhupada in Montreal, in Canada, he had already started the service. So right from his childhood, his name was Gopal Krishna. But Prabhupada said, your name change is not required. You're already the Lord's name and you can carry forward this name when he gave the initiation. So he was already engaged in the service. And when he met Prabhupada, he already decided that he wanted to, accept him as a spiritual master, whole and soul. So he took sannyas during that time itself. He took initiation, he took sannyas, and he carried forward. Since last 50 years, he has been serving this community. He's been serving the society in various means, preaching. So he never deviated from the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and Bhagavad-gītā. Okay, whatever Prabhupada told, he followed that. And whatever Prabhupada said, okay, there was a set of instructions. Okay, Prabhupada says you have to do this, you have to open centers in this city, you have to do the book distribution here. In fact, I was, long back, I was reading one particular book. You might all be aware when USSR, okay, Russia, before it was united. Okay, you all know those period. Russia was closed its doors to the entire world. Yeah, and after Second World War also they were not open to all the countries. And Russia is a communist country. Communist country means they do not follow any religion. Russia now it is okay, but during the 80s and 90s, they were completely communist, where the leaders were not allowing any religion, churches were closed, okay, and no form of religion has to be followed. It's only that people have to work and you have to, you do the hard work, you win the bread and you enjoy. That is what, communist approach is. Okay, work is worship. Okay, that is how they have. Okay, you don't get anything, all this, God, religion. So they basically kind of atheist community. So that is how they were following during that time. So Prabhupada instructed that you have to distribute Bhagavad-gītā. You have to start preaching in Russian countries. Okay, so this Maharaj, if you see, they will be wearing sannyasi dress, but they were going in normal dress, wearing like a shirt, pant, and they went there and they were not allowed to print even religious books. So, for example, during the 80s, when somebody, in the airport, they would do the checking, or in the railway station, they would randomly do the checking. If somebody has some religious book, he will be executed. That means he will be put in jail. So just imagine if that comes in India, we will all give up our Krishna consciousness. Just imagine if that happens. Okay, so nobody was allowed to keep those kind of things. Nobody should chant openly in the street. Okay, nobody should wear even tilak also. Okay, no religious symbols, no religious books or anything related to that. So that is the situation. So in that condition also, they went there. They did not have permission, leave permission. If they are caught with any Bhagavad-gītā book also, they'll be executed. They'll be put behind bars, and espionage cases they will put, and they will execute. They will hang people or they'll shoot. That is how they were. In that condition also, Maharaj went there and they had some devotees there. Already preaching had started, but we call it as, under the basement, how the preaching happens. So even in that condition, they were, preaching people, building the faith, and people, they had that faith. Okay, yes, they were also frustrated with the government and the system which has been created, okay, by the government, this communist thing. So they had that faith. They wanted to chant, they wanted to serve, do the services, devotional service. They all liked it. They wanted to read Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavad-gītā was getting printed in Russia in some basement. One of the devotees' house basement, they were printing. And how it was printed, it's not like they were not having anything. So from here, they wrote in one book, the entire Bhagavad-gītā, they wrote in one book, because you cannot carry a Bhagavad-gītā. So somebody reads, they'll just, like a notebook. They carried it from there, they again wrote and they printed. Just imagine how much of strive is required in this. Can we imagine doing this? We would be like, "Yeah, why should I? What the hell? I will live my life. I want to earn money. I want to enjoy whatever is there. I'll enjoy it." But just see, for the sake of the purpose, the movement has to go forward. This is a service they have done, risking their life also. Okay, so people have been shot also, by the soldiers, the KBG soldiers, the Russian USSR Federation soldiers also, they shot few devotees also. They were ready to give up their life. They were there for jails, for many months also. Okay, so they were there for, they would be injected with some psychotic, medicines. They would be in a coma stage for a very long time. And once they regain the consciousness, they will ask you give up your religion and you give up your consciousness, what you have, chanting Krishna, you're taking out God's name and all. So if they refuse again, they would inject with this. So that was the condition they will, it's a hellish condition. Those jails are now also there. So this is how devotees have strived just to make sure that this message reaches others. Okay, and they can take up Krishna consciousness so easily. Now you see, now all we are, when we see in videos, or when we see in, some YouTube, we see, people are dancing in the street, temples are opening in foreign countries. This was not possible without the efforts and the hard labor which they put. Okay, Maharaj, during that time, and other devotees who put during that time. This is the service. They say it was most relishable for them doing these things. It was fun going there. It was very, exploiting all these things are very nice. It was risky for life also, but still they found that they have to do. And when Maharaj passed away, what he had? He did not have anything in possession. He had one watch which was gifted by Prabhupada. Okay, one Rolex watch. And he had, a set of sannyasi clothes. He says it will give away to my disciples. I don't have anything. And he had one laptop and two mobile phone. Yeah, and that can be used for the service in, ISKCON. So you see, this is complete renouncement. They've completely followed the scriptures. Okay, that is how life has to be led. I'm not saying that we should also become renounced, or we have to give up everything. But this is the ideal life of a devotee, that I am always constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, and I have to have that firm faith. Okay, why Prabhupada explains. Once Prabhupada was asked, this is Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gītā. Prabhupada says, no, this is not my Bhagavad-gītā. This is Krishna's Bhagavad-gītā. I have translated, that's why I have termed it Bhagavad-gītā as it is. I have termed this as it is because whatever Krishna spoke, that I have given. Okay, so many devotees also do not know this. Bhagavad-gītā, what Srila Prabhupada has written, the commentaries, the purports, what you read, and the translation, he has referred to almost 15 to 16 acharyas' commentaries. So that means Srila Prabhupada has referred to so many Bhagavad-gītas by the previous acharyas. We are finding it difficult to just read one Bhagavad-gītā. Okay, and leave alone compiling a Bhagavad-gītā and giving a commentary. We are just finding it difficult when we ask, even myself, we are finding it difficult to read 2 shlokas, or, with the purports, or the, 5 shlokas in a day. But it was so much of labor. He has referred to so many acharyas, what they have given commentary, what they have explained about the shloka. 15 to 16 acharyas he has referred to. It's not an easy job. Okay, so we have to be very thankful. We have to always be that ardent devotee. Okay, that so much of strife and so much of effort has been made, so that easily available for us. We are just sitting in a Zoom call. We have the data. We have the knowledge. We have that information. We are passing on to the people very easily without any changes. This is not possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and without the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it cannot happen. Okay, and it's the same line, say, Prabhupada's disciples are following, and we also have to follow this. And follow means what? We just read and explain. It's not like that. We have to inculcate. We have to follow practically in our life, and we have to pass it on to our next generation. This is our goal. How this message can be passed on to the next generation. That is the whole and soul goal of our life. Okay, how I can perfect myself. Okay, I can gain this Krishna consciousness, and how it can be passed on to the next generation. Or else the world is very chaotic. We cannot even imagine what all things are going on. Okay, so please understand why we have these daily classes and why we have to follow rigidly, all religiously, all these things which have been explained. This is very, very important part of our life. So we have something called as primary duty and secondary duty. Primary duty means the spiritual life. First, you feed your soul, then you can feed your body. Okay, so feed your soul with what is recommended in this yuga, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, so Acharyas have explained, the Supreme Lord has explained, according to particular yuga, you have to take a particular way of living. He has explained clearly that in this yuga, there's nothing else is possible. The only chanting my names, the glorious names which are there, that is possible. And Lord Brahma himself, we talk so much of, we have heard talk about Brahma. Brahma himself says in this Kali Yuga, this is the only possible way. Even in Upanishads also, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very easy. You require only your tongue and your ears. You chant this, and Prabhupada has given us a very nice formula that he also clearly says that you chant your minimum 16 rounds. He said minimum, he did not say maximum. He said minimum 16. Of course, it will take some time for devotees to come to 16 round level. Okay, even I found it, little challenging when I was doing 1 round, 2 round, coming to 16 round was a challenging. So, 16 rounds minimum, then reading his books. He said, read, Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam. This is the purpose of life. If you do this, Prabhupada says, ensure that you will definitely go back to Godhead, go back to Vaikuntha in this life itself. You don't have to take birth again. You don't have to suffer again and again. Okay. So I end my class here. Okay, it's already time up. We can again meet up in the next class. Okay, please go through these shlokas and please be reading Bhagavad-gītā and continue your devotions in this. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.